Get Spiritual. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm here with my bestie, Ashley, and we'd love for you to join us as we discuss all aspects of spirituality and wellness. So sit back, take a breath, and let's get spiritual. Hello, welcome back.
Hi, everybody.
So this week, I'm happy to have you all here with us because we're going to talk yoga.
Yes.
Because there's many different avenues of spirituality, and that's kind of what this show is about. So this is one of the most popular avenues and one of the best.
It's like the best icebreaker into the spiritual world.
I think that's honestly where I started.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of. I mean, for me, it was almost more of a way to combine the spiritual world I was already kind of in because life and I don't have choices, I think, on part of it. And also trying to just like be more physical and get things done. Because obviously when you hear yoga, you're like, ew, I can't stretch and do those things because that's part of it.
Well, and that's before we dive into like what yoga is and all the benefits of it, I want to talk about what it's not.
Okay.
And it's not something you have to be an expert in to start with. No. It's definitely something you can do at home with YouTube and anything.
There's like
online.
Apps and stuff, literally like apps that give you like little animations on it, simple, medium, harder things. So,
and even like classes. There's a lot of areas, you know, in the neighborhood that offer different like actual yoga studios, gyms. Like there's
you literally you're always on your phone. Google it. You'll find multiple yoga studios wherever you may be.
And there's so many resources out there from like the simplest style of yoga to all the way up into advanced. And you just have to find what you can connect with.
Exactly. And what you feel comfortable doing.
Something else that it's not is not just for women. Yoga is for everyone.
It is 2022, the year of our Lord, people. Almost 2023. If your crusty masculine self is like, yoga is for women. First of all, go see a therapist. Second of all, go sign up for a yoga class because do you like to be able to move? Because stretching is a big part of getting older. I've realized.
Yes.
And yoga is a great way to get into a routine, regardless of the genitalia you may have.
Yeah, exactly. And it's perfect because yoga literally is for everyone. It's for the elderly who are, you know, struggling with their bodies, just aging. And
don't they do like even for old people, like
chair yoga,
chair yoga.
Just even for disabled people or people who've been through a traumatic incident, it's part of like stretching, and yoga is part of like sometimes a rehab and getting back to yourself. There's also yoga for children and like anyone on any level. There's goat
yoga where you can go do yoga with baby goats.
There literally is goat yoga.
You should do that. That's actually fun. We're doing it.
I've seen it. There's a couple of local places.
We're goat yogaing in 2023.
Yeah,
people.
We'll talk about it then in a follow-up episode. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. Another thing that yoga is not is like fancy pretzel like poses. Like definitely once you get advanced, get it. And be a pretzel.
You're going to want to do that stuff if you get to that point because you're like, what else can I do?
I once did a headstand like back in the day when I was doing yoga regularly for a few years, and it was like the best feeling ever.
Yeah. And you were doing it for a few years and you wanted to do it. You're not going to walk into day one.
No, it's definitely a foundational type of exercise and practice. Like you can't get to that step without taking all these little steps first.
Exactly.
So what really it kind of is just connecting with the breath and moving your body in sync with your breath. And that builds strength and trust within yourself. And like each pose is that building block in that step. So in order to be able to do a headstand, you have to be able to like hold your weight and really connect with yourself and learn how to breathe so that you can breathe through these poses. And
what it sounds like you're saying is that you have to be mindful
and patient.
All the things that we want to practice as spiritual people anyway.
Well, with anything, the more you practice, the stronger you become. And in yoga, the easier the poses get over time. You can be those pretzel poses.
You can be a pretzel twisted or you can be a pretzel rod and you're still just straight. It's okay.
If it's chair yoga, there's like arm movements where you can pretzel yourself up and stuff. Like it's literally for every level. So if you have any type of hesitancy, just know that there's a real big support within the community that you shouldn't feel this hesitancy about. Yeah. That's just your own fears of this is something unknown.
Exactly. You're definitely, if you're not someone that has already tried it or is open to it, you know, you may, in trying to become open to it, have to step out of a comfort zone.
Yeah.
But we've discussed how that is actually amazing and roll with it.
It's a good thing. So regardless of your level, I think it's something that anyone can do. And if you incorporate into your daily routine and your daily life, there's a lot of benefits that come from doing it regularly. And that's the important part. I mean, it's hard for, I think, anyone to keep a regular practice of any type of self-care. Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to incorporate like stretching and doing like light workouts a couple of days a week. And within those workouts, there's yoga type stretches for sure. So like even just a little bit of that, taking 10 to 15 minutes of your day has these benefits.
Many benefits. And yes, she just said it, 10 to 15 minutes. You don't have to sign up for an hour-long yoga session somewhere. Do it with
your kids. Help them calm down a little bit too. If they're like wilding out, it's a great way to take energy and transform it into a more relaxed state.
Exactly.
So some of the benefits of practicing yoga regularly is that it improves your strength, balance, and flexibility. It reduces stress. So like automatically that leads to better heart health, better sleep, less tension that we hold in our bodies. It leads to increased energy levels because of that. So if you're getting better sleep because of it, you're also going to reduce stress and you're going to feel better overall.
Yep.
Promotes a better self-care like routine. So you're connecting more with yourself and your breath and your body. And it's just that just encompasses spirituality and just being in tune and tuning into yourself and being connected to your body and your mind. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits. Yeah, for sure. Another one is that it just improves your overall mental health and quality of life. I remember just like when I would take classes regularly, I don't really have the time in my schedule to do that kind of thing now, but man, I really saw the benefits in my body and in my mind. And just again, like overall, it was just a great quality of life to offset some of the craziness of life that happens every day. And you get better posture, heightened awareness, better flow of oxygen, and energy throughout the body. So, and that's very important. As I've discussed, as being a crystal practitioner, energy flow, it being stuck in our bodies just really affects us physically. So yoga is a great way to release energy in these areas that might feel stuck and kind of just like icky.
Actually, ironically, the last time we recorded after I had a therapy session.
Yeah.
And here we are again today. And I just came back out of therapy and we're doing this. And this was ironically something we talked about.
Right? That's good.
Because as I've mentioned in the past, like I have anxiety. I've definitely had to deal with it more on a mindful level over the past few years. And part of that journey and trying to figure out my anxiety and how to cope with it was that I was prescribed medicine for my anxiety. So it's been a year. I'm to that point where the doctor's like, let's reevaluate. And I am to a point where during my waking hours, I got this stress. Who is she? Well, she's a close friend still. She's a close friend still, but we lingering. Just like check in with each other. And then I'm like, hey, that's enough. Bye. So that's definitely better. However, I'm noticing that my sleep is being affected, and I'm like, today in therapy, I was like, how do I stop my brain from being stressed when I'm sleeping?
Yeah,
like I'm sleeping. I can't imagine I'm stressed.
Yeah.
And one of the things we discussed is getting into a bedtime routine. She called it bedtime hygiene.
Oh,
yes.
Like that.
I figured you would.
Yeah, I do.
So, and one of the things that I had, even as she was going over just things that I could do, reading, meditating, listening to music, I was like, oh, I could stretch every night to help my body relax
and your mind
de-stress. I can help my mind catch up with my body wanting to get ready for bed. And also I would be doing good things for myself physically.
Yeah.
So
there's it's
definitely something you can work in.
I think the only negative is in yoga is if like you try to jump in too deep where you're just not ready for what you're going into. It's really important to know that these types of practices are something you have to do step by step. You can't take leaps. It's all about the journey.
Yeah. Like if you can't even touch your toes now, don't expect after one yoga session, you're going to be touching your toes on the ground.
Yeah. And you can't get mad at yourself. Steps. Like one thing I've learned as like doing ballet and dance for so many years is you have to give your body time and it has to be consistent. So you have to be consistent and have the patience to allow your body to adapt to the practices you're putting it through each day.
Exactly.
And yoga is a great example of that. Like I would not try to do a headstand today.
Let's do it right now. Let's do it
Hell no. Hell no. I love myself too much to do that.
Let's do a lifetime like testimonial here, baby steps.
Yeah. We'll start with the I'll just lay in Shavasana a little bit over there in the corner. That sounds more my pace right now. But yeah, that's all essentially the meaning of yoga. And the word yoga itself means connection and union. And that's
really? I never even know what that means. I looked it up or tried to educate myself on what it meant.
It's the union and connection between our mind and our body and our breath. And again, the self-awareness, it takes us to a place of higher connection to ourselves, and it helps build and establish a connection to life and spirit. And it enhances self-discipline for sure. Mm-hmm. Like I flip-flop with my disciplines. Sometimes I'm really on point. Other times I let myself slide a little bit, but I can always bring myself back. Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with like being in dance, taking yoga and applying these practices into my life.
I also feel like at this point in our lives, at the age that we are, our body reminds us that we should probably go back to any kind of good, healthy routine that we were doing to help it. Yeah. Because I'm stiff because I haven't stretched in a very long time. Yeah. So don't worry. Your body will remind you that this is a good thing to be consistent with.
Exactly. For anyone who's watching us on YouTube, I need to address the thing is back. We're in a totally different room.
Literally different part of the whole building.
We're not moving on that side at all. And for some reason, it just likes the wall. So
look at it. It's on cue again.
Okay.
Oh, I have a spooky thing to talk about then. Sorry. Okay. We don't need to ruin this flow.
Yeah, we're not going to ruin this flow with
maybe I'll throw it in at the end before I do tarot.
Nice. All right. So back to yoga. I want to talk about how there's so many avenues of yoga. The most ancient style of teaching of yoga is Vedic yoga, which is essentially focuses on our connection to higher power through spiritual development via deep meditation and mindfulness practices. Since then, many variations have developed and formed. So it's important to really find what works for you. And you can do that with tons of research. Like a lot of the information, that little book series that I have, they have one about yoga. You can literally just Google yoga and there's millions.
I think I've seen that one. Isn't there a person doing like a cross?
It's really beautiful. I love the artwork on those books.
Yeah, they are nice.
So, again, many different avenues of the practice. One of the most mainstream style is Vinyasa yoga, and that focuses on flow and the connection of breath in the body through many different poses, like in a sequence. So this style has you aiming for fluidity and balance to be able to shift and transition through these poses. It's a little more fast paced.
Yeah.
Some more advanced levels of this type of yoga are like super fast paced and sweat inducing. But the beginner levels are, although they still flow through a lot of these poses pretty quickly, it's still softer and more gentle than more advanced.
I've definitely experienced both, and I like the slower one better.
Yeah. There's also Kundalini Energy yoga. I have to say, first I'll talk about what Kundalini energy is. It's energy that's stored in the base of the spine. And in Hinduism, it's believed to be a powerhouse of divine feminine energy. And it resides like we all have male, like
masculine and feminine energy within us.
Yeah. But this feminine energy is stored in the Muladhara, which is the root chakra, and it sits there inactive until it's activated. And one of the ways to activate it is through yoga. But there's a huge disclaimer here because
you have it in literal caps.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't bold it.
Pretty much. If you're not prepared or on a path or ready, like you should never force Kundalini energy to be activated and released. It's all part of the spiritual journey, and it needs to go at its own pace based on where you are in your life.
Yeah.
So like what happens if you kind of force this energy to like come out, it can like take you to like different dimensions in your life where a lot of things happen very quickly and you just might not be like mentally, physically prepared for
it's like that stone.
It's like moldavite. It's literally like a moldavite. Like be ready to deal with consequences of what that means to put your life on that kind of path. Mm-hmm. That's why taking the path step by step is
important.
More important. And a lot of the yoga is for people who've kind of been on the path a little bit more, and they focus on how to work with the things that come up with Kundalini releasing.
Yeah. I was going to even say too, and just, even if you're just doing like the slow flow yoga, if you're starting to, I think I mentioned it might've been in the childhood trauma episode or the episode
we
before,
did talk about that,
where I was just like, my hips were really tight. So I was just doing stretches, like not even a yoga routine, just stretches that I have done in other yoga things that I've done or just in life. And I was really focusing on my hips, and I definitely was activating some sort of energy or chakra.
Yeah. So what you're doing is, again, we have the energy centers there, and you're, by movement and flow and breath, releasing and focusing on that area. You're releasing energy that's stuck there. And sometimes that energy is attached to old emotions, traumas that reside in it. I've said it before, traumas, especially old childhood traumas, reside in our lower chakras. So there's a lot of times that people get emotional in yoga classes, especially the slower paced ones where you really focus on some of these areas.
You're holding the poses.
Yeah.
So you're really stretching and releasing
and you're
that energy.
Breathing into them. So when you release this energy, it sometimes comes out in like tears and just emotions in general, just like an overflow of it. So that is something to be mindful of, and proceed with the utmost caution. If Kundalini energy yoga is something that you're drawn to and want to explore, you've been warned.
Yeah, be ready.
There's also Bikram yoga, which is very repetitive poses and like super structural class. Like you do the same poses in the same order each class. It used to be done in like a hot room, but now there's like different variations of that. Some isn't done that way. There's just straight literal hot yoga now, which is a slower pace than what the Bikram yoga technically is.
Stretch in a hot room. Like I don't even have my sweatshirt on right now because it's hot. Let alone I'm now doing physical activity too. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's a different avenue of yoga that I will not be exploring. I don't like to get hot. I get really cranky, and maybe it's something I can work towards to help me through.
But like, if not, that's not the worst thing that you choose not to work through.
It's okay. It's okay. I'd rather just not sweat. Like I can't relax when I'm that sweaty.
No. There was also a documentary. If you're watching this, she said the word and I made a face because I love a good documentary. We're best friends. And I watched one on like the founder of Bikram, and it was real freaking cringy.
Yeah. That's not great.
It's not good. Trigger warning if you watch it about like sexual abuse and stuff. It's a lot.
That sucks. Next up is Hatha Yoga. That's a really nice, slow paced form of yoga, and it's my favorite. It's what I've spent a lot of time doing. This one, you spend more time in each pose, really breathing into each of the poses. It helps you perfect it, and that's how I was able to build up strength to do some of the more difficult things. I
think that's probably one of my favorites too, because you really do like sit in stuff.
That's how I like to stretch. Like when I stretch, I like to sit in a pose, and I like to breathe into it. I like to open my body to make this feel easier next time. And that's what a lot of like the Hatha yoga is. Like you breathe into it. And I've implied that into my stretching in general. Like if I feel a stretch, I breathe into my stretch. And
that's definitely the big part about stretching and about yoga too. Cause obviously again, it involves stretching. Is really holding stuff. Like you'll be at the gym and you see people just going like, like real quick. Cool, bro, but you're not actually doing anything for your muscles or your body to like get that oxygen to where it needs to get to help like fix problems or just regenerate muscle and stuff. You got to hold stuff. Like
you have to send oxygen to that area because that's what creates the friction in the muscles to get stronger.
Yeah.
When you send oxygen in blood, it's just rejuvenating and like filling your body with more.
Definitely can help with recovery. If you are a lover of hardcore working out, you should probably also be a lover of stretching because it's definitely going to help you recover quickly.
For sure. And like the Hatha style yoga really helps with building that strength overall and the balance and flexibility. And it helps with patience because you're sitting in these poses for long. You're really telling
There's
your
definitely
mind.
Times where I've been in a stretch where I'm like, this feels good, but can I move on? No, I need to like finish out this 5 count breath or whatever you're doing to like get it in there.
But like if vinyasa yoga is too much for you, Hatha yoga is a really
it's a good one
style.
It's probably, honestly, it's probably one of the ones that's good to start with.
Yeah, I think so.
It's just like base. I've never actually taken a Hatha yoga class, but I assume it's just like the basic stretching, getting into the flow, practicing and focusing on your breathing.
Yep.
Definitely a good starter.
Another top style is restorative yoga, where you're pretty much welcome to like fall asleep because a lot of healing happens in that relaxed state. You can't heal in a tense state.
Right.
So by relaxing our bodies and our minds, our bodies and our minds can have a place to heal. So it's a good style of yoga because especially if you're the type of person, which a lot of us are, if you can't turn your mind off very easily, or if you have a hard time sleeping, restorative yoga spends a lot of time on the floor, shavasana, which is like the best part about yoga.
It is really pretty awesome. I always like to, even if I'm any of the yoga programs that I've done, if you are a daily burn or a Beachbody user, there's lots of awesome yoga introduction to yoga or like more advanced styles that you can do. But that's always where I like to end things. It's just like a nice, okay, good job, body.
Yeah,
relax.
we did it. Yeah. And you take in all the work that you just did. Like you allow your body to just absorb everything you just did.
Super great time to be grateful.
Yeah.
While you're just laying there, relaxing, letting it all soak in, just like a good old thank you.
And like be present in the body, feel yourself in your body. And that's what restorative yoga is about. You spend a lot of time in a lot of poses that are on the ground or in a sitting position. And it's really great for opening up, relieving stress. It helps boost your immune system. And it's just relaxing to find peace and reground ourselves through this style. Then there's other styles like aerial yoga, hot yoga, power yoga.
Go ahead, pronounce that word with the I. What's that?
Iyengar. I was going to say, disclaimer, Iyengar yoga. It's one that focuses on alignment and detailed, precise movements. I think that one's more of like the balancing and like a lot of the tree poses and like straight alignment poses. So yeah, there's yin yoga, ashtanga yoga, but bhakti yoga.
Even your computer's like, what?
Exactly. Prenatal yoga, chair yoga, kids yoga, like literally so many styles. We can't spend the entire episode going through all of them because there are so many. It's a
literal ancient practice, people. We don't know all the info.
And then since then, everyone's kind of adapted their own way. Like, again, I don't do strict yoga. I do yoga mixed with the way I like to stretch based on how I used to dance and like what feels good for my body. And
you and I are very similar in regards to that because there's people that ask like, what do you do to stretch? And I'm like,
I just do what feels good. I take what I've learned with like the breathing exercises and sitting and just like focusing on sending oxygen, but nothing beats a good yoga class though. I don't want to say that like, and there's a lot of really good YouTubes. I've done one with my coworkers and my mom after work one day. We just like put it on the TV there in like a little spot and bring our mats and just do a nice little wind down after work. Like, it's really just something that helps rejuvenate the soul and makes you feel really grounded and connected. So I don't know if yoga is something you're interested in. I highly recommend it. I feel like you should explore it, do some digging, experiment. Don't be mad at yourself if you can't pick it up. Just go to a different style. Like
exactly. Or just if you really like a certain style of yoga, but you still are like, I can't do it. Consistency. Keep doing it. If it's something you want, do it
for the health benefits alone. A few minutes a day, it will have so many benefits, like lifelong benefits.
Exactly. That's the biggest part, is that it is something that's a lifelong practice of it will have amazing results for you, especially as you get older. Again, my body's like, girl, you need a good old stretch. Yeah. And I can only imagine it's going to get worse as I get older.
Like with the state of the world, just to be able to like calm our minds a little bit and connect with ourselves when we feel so disconnected with everything that's going on. It's a really good way to remind ourselves we are all connected.
Exactly. And you don't have to be in some like, I mean, ideally, if you have some like tonal music playing or something that calms your mind, awesome. But even if you just put on something that makes you happy, I've already stretched to like my favorite music.
Yeah, like my favorite playlist and everything.
Yeah, like just to be in that moment and appreciate it and enjoy it and just invigorate myself while I'm doing it.
I do a lot of flow like that too. I'll just put music on. I'll start with stretching and I just let the body kind of take over and move and stretch into it.
There's no wrong way to do it if you're doing it to help your body and be kind to yourself.
Exactly.
That simple.
Well, this brings us to tarot time.
Can I do spooky story?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that if you have been, P.S. shout out to our people that have been like commenting on our YouTube videos.
Thank you to all of our listeners.
Watching and listening from the beginning. You know, our mystery friend that pops up on the other side of the room. It's a thing. It's happened
Our camera just picks up a random... I don't know.
It's picking up something. We just haven't figured it out. We literally don't have anything over there that's moving.
No, it's not moving. We don't know why.
No.
And we're both spiritually inclined and have had spirits and encounters of things. So I don't
do a haunted episode? Because like I'm starting to really like, I do believe that spaces can be haunted. I don't feel vibes here at all.
No,
I don't think
it's not haunted, but I think
people can be haunted.
Or surrounded by spirits.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like it's not like, oh my God, it's so scary. But I feel like even in my my tarot practices, which PS, the ladies that have asked for tarot readings because they listen to us, I love you guys. And I'm so glad that I could help you. But, when you do reach out for me for a tarot reading, I will mention, I feel like all of us have a spiritual kind of team or network that is always, present with us and around us. And that sometimes does include actual people that we've loved that have passed.
Exactly.
So when I say people are haunted, I don't mean it's a scary thing, just that
you're guided and protected.
Yeah, but if you're a person that experiences a lot of paranormal types of situations, your energy, your openness, or the things around you, the spirits around you might just kind of attract things to you like a magnet. So it's not a bad thing. I think that I'm slightly haunted, which brings us to creepy time.
Yeah.
So on Thursday, I was at work in my break room with a coworker. I go in that break room multiple times a day and never, ever, ever have the lights flickered. Oh. And we were standing there talking and the lights were flickering, like to the point that even the other person was like, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, it is, because that never happens. Then I went to a doctor's appointment and those lights were flickering. Then I went to a mechanic to get my oil changed and those lights were flickering. No way. And I'm like, this is a 3-time situation. Yes. And I don't think
now I'm paying attention.
Which leads me to spooky. Because
that was kind of spooky there.
Oh,
you guys are going to take me on this ride.
I'm really like, oh, that was okay. Yeah, it was weird. I didn't think it was spooky.
It's weird. That's weird.
I know. I sometimes don't realize that things are spooky because I'm used. That's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
Normal.
Happened to me. That's kind of normal. It's going to get worse.
Okay, I'm ready.
I did this to you the other day when I told you a story. I was like levels on levels on levels.
It gets deeper.
I was very much woke up all sleepy style, went into the bathroom and was going to the bathroom. And I very much saw something in my hallway.
No,
I don't know. And then because I was sleepy, I was like, yeah, I see you. Hi. And then I was like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have acknowledged it. Because then when I was out of the shower and getting ready, it's all something else.
Yeah. Not the same kind of thing.
It definitely gave me the same energy. It does feel, it's not scary. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Weird. I had something happen on Thursday too.
Oh.
So we have 2 cats.
Yeah.
And we heard something in the one house
room. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Wednesday. Yeah. So on Thursday, it's weird. It's the same night. We heard something happen and with just a noise. And I was like, oh no, did the cats get in something? Because anytime we hear something like that, we're
obviously,
like, what is it?
And you have 2 of them. They're frisky little.
So the one may have been playing with a box or something. But as I was walking into that room, I thought the other cat, I saw something under the bed as we walked past the bedroom, and I saw the bed ruffle kind of moving like a shadow. And then I went and the one cat was there and I was like, oh, I think that was the other cat. And I look behind me and it was laying down somewhere on the couch. I was like, yeah, I didn't like that. But yeah, I didn't feel threatened by it. I just
it's just weird that we hung out on Wednesday. Then we both had something happen on Thursday.
When you said that, and I didn't really think anything much of it. Again, I think for the same way, if I don't feel threatened by an experience,
it is what it is. I can't help if you are attracted to me, but I might have to have a conversation with things. It's not scary. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't feel scared when I've had encounters.
In my situation, I do kind of get the vibe that it's a kid. I don't know though. I feel like because I don't, kid ghosts are kind of creepy to me, even if they're not scary, but I've had that experience before where I picked up kid spirit and was like, okay, bro, you got to go away. You're getting a little too weird. So
I that in our old apartment in the school?
That definitely in that school. But when I worked at my old job that I was in the admissions department, I went to the graduation that was at that church. Remember?
I remember that too.
And I heard the little kids laughing, but there was nobody down there. And when I went creepy home, I was seeing a little girl pop up. It was a little girl. I could see it. This wasn't I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just know it felt.
There was an energy.
Yeah. What I saw was kind of low to the ground. So, and the second time I saw it, kind of peek around the bathroom door, it was kind of small. So in my mind, that means it's a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Maybe it needs to go away, but it hasn't messed with me
since
today.
Yeah, we're not too far since
I was oh, that's right. I just told you this happened yesterday because it didn't. I woke up, I took a shower and I was out the door. So I also didn't give it time to
process.
Be like, oh, she's awake. So
yeah, again, keep us posted.
I don't know what's happening on the other side, but I do know that it happened a lot in this episode. And then it triggered my memories on
interesting.
And it's happening as we're talking about it more.
Nice. So, nice little side stories there.
Jesus, I need to go.
Well, Yeah, let's shuffle some cards. Let's shuffle some cards and take some nice deep breaths here. Deep, mindful breaths.
Go away.
We're going to do 3 counts in and an expansive 5 counts out to turn the mind off for a few seconds and really connect with these breaths. Starting now. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, inhale. Exhale for 5. Last one. Exhale it out. Ooh. Those all look similar.
Right? Well, they're all wands.
Wow.
They popped out together too. I was done. I was like, okay, I'm done. And ironically, the top and the bottom go with
what? Another wand?
Another wand. Oh, hey, girl.
And your friend.
Yeah.
All right.
So today, they popped right out even before we started breathing. Because I think I did actual readings last week. I'm like on it.
Yeah.
So more people reach out.
More
I'm
practice.
sorry it takes me a long time because I have a full-time job and it's kind of hectic sometimes. But I will get to, I promise. So we have 3 cards. I did move them around a smidge because it's telling a story here. So we have the 5 of Wands. It's always real crusty to me. Those people are beating each other with sticks.
Yeah, they literally are. And they're big ass sticks.
Like they're little wands. They're like,
yeah,
F you, I'm mad at you. So we have the 5 of Wands. We have the 8 of Wands.
That's just a lot of wands.
Yeah. And then we have the 6 of Wands. And on the bottom of the deck was the 7 of Wands. So this particular set of cards definitely makes me feel like, so anybody this resonates with, I'm sorry, but you're going through some crust. There's some maybe arguments within life, work, I don't know. But to me, the 5 of Wands seems like there is some serious miscommunication, friction happening. Yeah. So with that, listen, practice some mindfulness, practice some yoga. You're going to get out of it by the 8 of Wands and the 6 of Wands. But again, that 5 of Wands feels pretty crusty. Those people are beating each other, especially look at that red guy is the one I keep looking at.
That was like winding up, like swinging it back.
Like, I hate you. So if you're going through it, I apologize. It's the holiday season.
Maybe you're feeling like you're getting beaten up.
Yeah. The holiday season, I feel like in multiple of my previous jobs and sadly in this one too, because they've all been customer service based. This time of year doesn't bring the best out in people. I don't know if it's the stress of the holidays, the stress of having to spend time with family, money, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It brings the worst out in people sometimes. So if you find yourself in that situation, I'm sorry, but the 8 of Wands does indicate that there's going to be some forward movement. And like organization, the wands are kind of all organized. They're flowing in the same way. So for me, that does mean movement. So you're going to get out of this crust. And then you're going to be a regal asshole driving a horse.
Driving a horse.
You're driving your horse. Yes, you are, with a bunch of people all happy around you. And now their wands are in the air for celebration and not being swung at each other. So this does kind of have family feelings with it as well for me. So like, it's going to get better. You're going to get through this situation. Just, you can only control yourself. So just try to come at the situation with a little more openness, understanding, and love. That will definitely result in some forward movement for you. And I just feel like once you work through this, you're going to grow from it. You're definitely going to feel,
I kind of see that messy, organized reward.
I do feel like, especially because of the 6 of Wands, that it's going to require you to, as my therapist likes to remind me, be your own cheerleader. I think you're going to have to advocate for yourself. You may have to, in this situation, maybe really dive into feelings.
We'll talk about that in our next episode a little bit. So get ready.
It's going to get better, but it's not great right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Just know it gets better.
At least you don't have a ghost child baby stalking.
Breathe through it. Take some yoga to help reduce that stress.
Yes.
And as always, guys, thank you for listening and stay spiritual.
Yes. Have a good day.
Bye.